Someone asked me years ago, they heard a rumor that I was leaving the church. I said, why would I do that? Because I have a fortune invested in clothes to match the building. Most of us have dress clothes of some sort for going to special occasions, and more often than not, those occasions are either a wedding or a funeral. Welcome to Sunday Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. We don't have a topic at Sunday Coffee Hour. Things just bubble up. This week, we talked about detecting the virus in municipal sewage waste, appropriated grief, and the difference between Indians and Indians. This Sunday at Washington National Cathedral, the service opened with a lovely processional litany that God will protect us from all malice, slovenliness, and love of money in all times of sorrow and in all times of joy by the mystery of the Incarnation. The procession traversed the entire length and breadth of the cathedral, including both transepts. It was very well done. Whether you enter by the main aisle or from the transept, it's an opportunity to hear God's voice. We go to church to listen for the voice of God. If we don't hear the voice of God ourselves, then we can't hear the voice of God in others. The retired priest of Washington, D.C. said recently that religion has hypnotized us into an unconsciousness that serves no purpose except perhaps the purposes of Hallmark cards and Disneyland. I went by the 17th Church of Christ Scientists this week, and I wondered if they will be celebrating Easter. I thought probably not. They might have an Easter lily in the lobby, and they might greet each other with Happy Easter, but I don't think they're really into holidays. And what's the point of it anyway? Did Christ come to create a new holiday? Why do any of us celebrate it? Does anyone hear the prophetic voice in it, or is it just a big distraction? During the pandemic, some of us talked about leaving the church, and the most popular refrain in those conversations was, but where will they have your funeral? Do we go to church because we're alive or because we're going to be dead? At St. James, the gospel reading was about the anointing of Jesus' feet with the expensive perfume. Dean Barrington said that the point of the story is that we are anointed for the living, not anointed for our death. Sounds simple enough, but we all seem to be hypnotized by the dying part of life, and that really gets in the way of the living part. Vicki Curtis was a minister at the church I attended for many years. She said in a sermon once that we come to church to experience something different than our regular lives. That's why we have the music of the organ and the stained glass. As she was saying it, she pointed to the organ loft and across the sanctuary to the stained glass. She said, this is to take us outside of ourselves. Sometime later, I mentioned to Vicki how much I enjoyed that part of her sermon, and she said she didn't remember ever saying it. I didn't particularly like Vicki, but she always had a good sermon. It's not necessary to like someone to hear their prophetic voice, and you don't need to be a nice person to have one. And if you don't hear the prophetic voice, then everything else is just a distraction. If you would like to join us for Sunday Coffee Hour, I will include my email in the description of this video, and I'll be happy to send you an invite. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.